If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Just getting set up here. And I am deciding, at least today and for the next week or so, I'm going to be doing a topic. Yesterday I was talking about how to make 10K in 30 days. Today I'm going to I'm talking about how to start an online business as a beginner, because you may be, good morning Russ, you may be brand new to all this. Let me know where you're coming in from. Good morning Kalman, good morning Dimitri, good morning Cat 1956. Let me know where you're coming in from. I'm on the west coast, the east coast of the United States. Good morning Lou, good morning Arlene. Just drop in the comments, let me know where you're coming in from. Good morning Casey, good morning Amaryllis. If I'm not pronouncing that correctly, I apologize. I can see you're from the Philippines. Good morning. Good morning, Scotty. Good morning. Is it KC? Good morning, Samantha. Let me know where you're coming in from. I am on the East Coast of the United States. It's about 9:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am on Eastern Standard Time. Let me drop in the comments if this is the first time you've been on one of my lives. Drop a yes in the comments. Good morning, Yam Dos, and what do people call you? Good morning, Tanya. Let me know where you're coming in from. Okay, Arlene, this is the first time, because I'm seeing a lot of names the last few days when I've been doing these. I've been here every day. I'm here every day at 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm seeing names I don't recognize. Good morning, Apple user 768. What do people call you? Because some people that are jumping on here, you don't. Good morning, Eric. You don't have your profile set up, so you don't have a profile picture there. And then what TikTok does is they assign you a user number. Now, if you're on, I'm live streaming in two places. I'm on my phone on my TikTok account, and I'm on my MacBook Pro on YouTube. On YouTube, if you don't say hello, if you don't drop anything in the comments, I don't know who's on, so I can't shout you out. TikTok does happen to show me who's coming on. Good morning. Is it Sheer EJ Archer? Good morning, D2. Good morning, Melon Pick. What do people call you? Good morning, New Edition. Good morning, Monty. Good morning, Riella. Good morning, Durana. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Shavy. Yeah, because a lot of people that you're not putting your names. Good morning, Patrick. Some of you don't have pictures, and I do really recommend, if you're using social media, you want to put your picture on there. Good morning, Zombie. What do people call you? You want to put your name and your picture on there, because people want to know you're real. They want to see your smiling face. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, Pumpkin. And I see when people are coming up, I can see if you have a profile picture or not. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Billion Boss. Good morning. Is that what people call you? Good morning, user 4604. Now that's somebody that you don't have your profile set up. You don't have a picture. Good morning, Rhonda. And TikTok is just assigning you a user number. And now there's like a couple of people that just came on TikTok. It's just a user number. Good morning, Padidia. You really do. It doesn't matter what you're using social media for. Good morning, Elisa. Good morning, Carmen. Good morning, Diamond Girl. You want to put something, the people you can identify you, and that you want to put a good picture of yourself, because people want to know you're real. Good morning, Emmanuel. Good morning, Andredo, if I'm saying that correctly. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Florence. Good morning, check it out. Good morning, Vicky. Where are you coming in from? If you just drop in the comments where you're coming from. Good morning, Tara. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning, Lou. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Stan. Good morning, Carditas Law. Good morning, Vicky. You just got a badger. Good morning, PT Petlin. Good morning, Arthur. Good morning, another user. So some of you, and YouTube doesn't show me anything, but today I was going to talk about how to start an online business as a beginner. And I've got my board here. Let me just make sure I've got this on mirror. Yeah. That you should see the writing the same way, on whether you're on my YouTube channel or you're on my TikTok account. But how to start a business as online, a business as a beginner. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to pick a niche, and you can almost do anything you want, but there's the three biggest niche. I do suggest you pick one in one of these categories. The three biggest niches, they're evergreen. The first one is the wealth niche, the make money online niche. That's the niche I'm in. The second one is The health niche, it's weight loss, fitness. Let me put this on here, because if you're not, you don't want to pick something that's so broad that nobody knows what it is. But the first one is you want to pick a niche, and really you want to pick from one of the three big. Let me put this over here. The three biggest niches, which are the wealth niche, make money online niche, the health niche, fitness, weight loss, or the dating relationship niche. Those are three. They're all evergreen. They're all evergreen. So and they're not oversaturated. If you pick something outside of that, you may be picking something that's oversaturated or that nobody's interested in. Because if nobody's interested in, you're going to have a hard time really doing anything. But those are the three biggest ones: the wealth, the health, and dating relationship. They're evergreen. They're not oversaturated. And if you pick in one of those three, you'll probably be okay. And like, to give you an example, with the health niche, weight loss, and there's a lot of people looking to lose weight. And you can go on any social media platform and find people that are talking about weight loss. They could be a trainer or a fitness or some sort of a health and wellness coach, but you want to pick a niche. So the second thing is you need a product. And depending on what your niche is, I just put product down there. Depending on what your niche is, that would dictate your product. Now, if it's weight loss and say you have a supplement or something, it's a physical product. If it's an educational thing, like I'm in the wealth niche, my products are digital. I am involved with 2 network marketing companies that I don't really promote. I use the products myself, but I don't promote them. Depending on your niche. So if you're going towards the health niche, it's probably going to be a physical product. If you're doing something in the wealth niche or even the dating relationship niche, it could be a digital product. If you do have a digital product, it's easier because then you don't have to worry about shipping or any of that. But you want to pick a product, you want to pick something that's in high demand, because if it's not in high demand and nobody wants it, it'll be really hard for you to get anybody following you or getting interested in what you're talking about. I mean, I had a guy on my live the other day, and maybe he'll pop on. He's doing personal development, like mindset stuff, and I don't know what his background is. I don't know if he has a background in psychology or not, but that doesn't fall under one of these 3 biggest niches here. So he might have a problem. And personal development really doesn't, and he's trying to sell something, it doesn't really sell that well, but that's what he wanted to do. And I told him you should start creating content around that. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Simple. Good morning, RK. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Thank you for liking the live. When you like my live, I really appreciate it. That helps my account out. But you want to pick the product. You want to pick something that's in high demand. Weight loss is, there's a lot of people that want to lose weight or they're trying to lose weight, but you want to pick something that's in high demand. And the second thing is, and depending on what you're doing, this may be a little harder, something that gives you 100% profit. And if you have your own products or service, I mean, you could be a fitness coach. If it's your own thing, then you're making 100% profit. What I do is I do have a couple of my own products, but I also do digital marketing where I'm making 100%, because otherwise you're sharing profits with somebody else, and then you're spending more time doing something, and you're not going to get paid 100%. So you want to pick a product, the niches first, then you want to pick a product. And the third one is you need a discovery method. I call it a discovery method. And most of us, a discovery method, my handwriting's a little sloppy. Most of us, and I use social media because it's free. There's over 5 billion people, so there's plenty of people. It's global. What I have is global, and preferably your product, you want it to be global, but depending on what your product is, it may not be available on every country. I have people from all over the world following me, just not like, Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, people in Sweden, people in Africa. So you want to do something global. If you pick social media, now you can do paid advertising. You can do like solo ads or Facebook ads or pay-per-click ads, but then you're spending money on advertising. And if you are going to go that route, you want to be careful about how much you're spending, because you can be spending a lot of money and then not getting any return on that. And I have done that at different times where I've had, let me put this over here, where I've had spent a lot of money on advertising and didn't get anything. Social media, if you're putting out I do 3 videos every day. I post 3 videos on my TikTok account. I take those same videos and I post them on my Instagram account. The content you're putting out, whether it's a video or a post, you want it to be congruent with, whatever your product is. Because if you put something out about gardening and your niche is weight loss, you're going to start to confuse people. So you want to start putting content out. Now I learned that TikTok now you can do posts. Instagram, you've been able to do posts for a long time, and that's all Instagram was originally. But when short video started coming out, because all the platforms now have short video, YouTube has shorts. Even though YouTube is typically a long form video platform and it's more of tutorials, which it's harder to do those on like TikTok or Reels or on Instagram and Facebook. But you want to have a discovery method. And if you don't have, if you're not, you can use paid advertising, but if you use social media, there's over 5 billion people. You can get exposure to tons of people. You can do it for free. But you're going to need to learn how to use social media. I'm going to make that the next one. If you're going to use social media, if you're going to do paid advertising, you can skip this, because your paid advertising will get your stuff out there. If you want to do Facebook ads, but they are a skill you have to master. And if you don't know what you're doing, there's a lot of moving parts with it. You might be able to get an ad up, but it may not convert to anything if you don't know how to do Facebook ads, because they are a skill. Pay-per-click ads are also a skill. Solo ads, you can just buy some clicks and send them to people. But social media, that's free. You're reaching over 5 billion people. It's global. So you're getting it out to a lot of people. Good morning, Alice. Good morning, Percival Pivot. Ugh, I can't say that. Where are you coming in from? Let me know where you're coming in from. I'm on the East Coast of the United States, but you need a discovery method. You need social media. So you need a niche. The 3 biggest are health, wealth, and dating relationship. You need a product. If it's a physical product or it's a digital one, you need a discovery method that can be social media, or if you want to go the route of paid ads. Now, the 5th one is you need to use email marketing. And why I'm saying this is because I see people doing this, is email marketing is number 5, because what you're doing is you're sending people to a page with just information. And you don't want to do that. It might be a sales page. It could be just a website with information, or a replicated website, depending on what you're doing. The problem with that is then you're only giving people one opportunity to talk to them, because once they leave your page, that's it. You want to use email marketing and send them to a website with a capture page or landing page, a squeeze page. It's all the same thing. Get their email address and get them on your email list so you can keep talking to them. If you're just sending them to a page and you're not capturing their email address, you only have one chance to talk to them and then they're gone. And I spent a whole year doing that when I first started this. I was just sending people to a replicated website. Let me just put this over here. I wasn't getting their email addresses, and then after that, they were gone. And if you're doing that, then you only have one opportunity to talk to them, and you want to build an email list, because you don't own and especially if you're using social media as your discovery method, you don't own your social media accounts, you don't control them, you can lose them at any time. And I had 10 TikTok accounts. I had over 200,000 followers. I had 3 Instagram accounts. Somebody hacked my main one. They deleted it. I had 2 others that Instagram then suspended those others and didn't rule in my favor. So I was starting again, both on TikTok and Instagram. But these are like the 5 things you really need to get started if you want to do an online business. Now, with the email marketing, you do need a tool called an autoresponder. I'm going to put this down for now. It's an autoresponder where And yeah, you can start with it for free, but after that, then you have to, when you get up to a certain number of subscribers, you got to start paying for it. You want to build an email list because you don't own your social media accounts, you don't control them, you can lose them at any time, and you don't want to do that. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. YouTube, if you don't comment or anything, I don't know you're there, so I can't give you a shout out, but you want to be using email marketing. You can start, most autoresponders, they let you start for free. And the one I use, you can get up to 2,000 subscribers, but after that, you have to start paying for it. And you want to build your email list, because if you're not building that, that's what you own, that's what you control. You don't control your social media accounts. And I do know people even doing paid advertising, doing Facebook ads, that they've gotten their accounts shut down, and then that was it. They had to start over again. And I've known quite a few people that have done Facebook ads and they've gotten their accounts shut down. And then you're going to lose all your traffic. And if you're not getting, you want to get people if you're doing Facebook ads or solo ads, or you're using social media, be generating leads every day, get people on your email list, and then nurture your email list. And to give you an example, I had somebody that got on my email list last October 2024. And I talked to her a few times in between that, and then she bought something from me in July. And yeah, I do get sales on First Touch, but most people are not going to buy something from you on First Touch. They got to see something multiple times. And if you think about your own buying habits, how many times? Good morning, Anne Marie. Good morning, Naughty Nelly. Is that what people call you? Good morning, Kathy. You want to get people on your email list and nurture the leads, because you will find, and I have had that happen multiple times. I had somebody get on my list at one point, and then for that particular person, she was on my email list for 10 months before she did anything. And I did talk to her a few times on TikTok. That was a lead that I got from TikTok. But if you're not doing that, you're missing. And there's some of you that you're just sending people to a page with information. And if you do that, you only have one chance to talk to them. So these are the 5 steps. And if you want, I have a blueprint I'm following of a 2-hour workday. If you want more detail, go to payudaily.com, payudaily.com. And then if you're on my TikTok account, you can come all the way up to my profile up here. And in the bio, my website's in there, payudaily.com. If you're on my TikTok account or my YouTube account, you can drop a comment if you want more info. I'll put my website in there. But you can't, YouTube's a little different. But so if anybody has any questions, but if you don't have those in place, and you're not picking in a niche that's evergreen and it's not oversaturated, and the guy that was on that said he wanted to do personal development. Good morning, Eugene. The other day, I don't in person, and that's all mindset stuff. And like I use that, but it doesn't sell very well. I mean, you can try it, and it's not falling in one of the 3 niches I was talking about. And you might have a hard time building anything up, but you want to be putting out whatever niche you pick. You want to be putting content out if you're using social media that's congruent with your niche. Because like I have people want to do brand deals. Somebody, to give you an example, somebody emailed me. They wanted me to do a video on my YouTube channel. They have their website is women's clothes. And I wouldn't do that because that's got nothing to do with what I'm doing. And then you're confusing people. I mean, she can use YouTube herself and start creating videos about it, but congruency matters. So if the content you're putting out there doesn't match what you're doing, you're going to confuse people. They're going to, you could be talking about one thing and you're putting content out about something else and it's got nothing to do with what you're doing. Hey, Carl, good morning. Thanks for liking the live. So you want to pick from one of those 3 niches, because they are evergreen. They're not oversaturated. If you pick something and it's oversaturated, you may be putting a lot of work in and then not getting anywhere with it. If it's something that it's a smaller niche that falls into one of those 3 big ones, you may be okay. But if it's something like the guy that wants to do something with personal development, that doesn't fall into any of those. So I don't know. And I don't, and it really, and one of my mentors has said that it doesn't really sell. And I buy mindset stuff. So I might, if I found across this channel because I was looking for something to listen to, but there's plenty of, like I like Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins is great. Good morning, David. And that's all. And he teaches motivation and personal development and all that. If you ever listen to Tony Robbins, actually, I follow him on TikTok. But he's got some really good stuff. But he's got a really big name, and he does events and he speaks worldwide. I don't think Tony's got a problem with getting anything going, because I think he's got over 1 million people following him on TikTok. Good morning, Grits, Roots. Good morning, normal, regular. What do people call you? What does that mean? So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you haven't, let me know where you're coming in from. If this is the first time you've been on one of my lives, but that's, if you want to start a business as a beginner, an online business, the first thing, if you don't have a niche, you want to pick one. It's Ellie. So my great grandma's name is Silly. They also call me Frugal Nun. Okay. All right. Interesting. Good morning, Saudia. Is that what people call you? A lot of people on TikTok, I'm noticing you're not putting your names, and either you're doing something else. Good morning, Susie. And then there's a lot of people, you don't even put a name. You're letting TikTok assign you a user number, and you don't have your picture. If you're using social media for something, and I believe that all of you are online for you have a reason. If you're just scrolling and being a consumer, that's okay. But if you're trying to get some traction with something, and you're using social media to get in front of people, like I had somebody on one of my lives. She has an organization it's a nonprofit that supports women who've been victims of domestic violence, and she's using social media. Thank you. Well, I'm here actually just giving out, and I've personally spent over $100,000 to learn from different people. And this month actually is my 14 years of doing this. I've been working online. I haven't worked a job in over 9. The reason I started doing this was it was August 2011. I lost my job. I couldn't find another one. The job market was horrible. There were like people getting 1,500 resumes for one position. And like, I never had trouble finding a job. I think I got, after a year of applying, and they were making you take tests, to spending 2 to 3 hours on one application. You get an automated email saying, thanks for applying. And if we're interested, we'll get back to you. And then, I only had those 3 interviews. I couldn't find a job. I was broke, unemployed, in foreclosure. I was drowning in $250,000 of debt. And somehow I knew, I think it was God telling me people are making money on the internet. I went to Google, I searched make money online. I bought a website. They sent me a 3-page PDF with how to set up pay-per-click ads. So I started doing this. I had no idea what I was doing. I spent $3,000 in pay-per-click ads. I don't even remember what I paid for the website. I was sending traffic to a replicated website, which you never want to do. And I didn't make any money. And after a year, I realized I had to get around somebody. I'm a beginner, lost my teaching job after 24 years and never been able to have social media account to post. Well, you have a social media account now, don't you? The one that you're on TikTok. And I had 10 other than this one. I had 10 other social media accounts that I lost. I stayed off of TikTok for over a year. I lost 3 Instagram accounts, and this TikTok account you're on right now, and the Instagram account I have, last June, I started posting 3 videos a day on each of them. I just hit 100,000 followers on TikTok. I got monetized there. I'm close to 100,000 followers on Instagram. I would be monetized over there, but Instagram stopped their program. They're not doing that anymore. They used to pay people for views on your videos, your reels. But sorry you lost your job. But sometimes, I know it was devastating for me, and I didn't have a backup plan or a partner to fall back on. It totally turned my life upside down. I worked in cancer research for 16 years, and I was totally devastated when I lost it. But I realize now that for me, really, it was a blessing. I've had days in this industry, I've made more money in a day than I made in a month when I was working a job. You're saying, yes, I started TikTok and Instagram posting a bit, 47 followers, a mere ant, no idea how to build or sell. Well, Nellie, you can follow me on TikTok and watch what I'm doing. I have a free PDF. I'm using a proven blueprint. It's a 2-hour blueprint. I've got the free PDF. If you want my free PDF, you can come up here to my profile on TikTok. There's a bio there. My website, payudaily.com, is there. You can get on my website, put your email address in. You'll get an email from me. And you can watch there's 2 videos and a page that get more information. And that's what I'm doing. The email will have a link in it with the PDF. You can click on that. You can download it. You can start following go through the 2-page PDF. Well, it's 3, I think. But you need, when I lost my accounts, TikTok and Instagram, I've mastered some skills. So I did stay off of TikTok for over a year. I know what to do to build the accounts back up. I've spent over $100,000 learning from people. I've taken a couple courses on TikTok. I spent a year in a coaching program learning Instagram. And on YouTube, I got on YouTube in 2013. I've taken like 10 YouTube courses. That's how, I know what to do to build up an account, and how I've been able to take both TikTok and my Instagram account from 0 followers to I'm over 100,000 on TikTok, and I'm over 90,000. I'm almost at 100,000 on Instagram, but it is a high income skill. You can learn it in 2 weeks, but mastering it, and I get better and better at the stuff, putting content out, learning stuff, because I post every day. I have a mentor, and when I first started, I didn't have a mentor, and you really do need a mentor. And I knew after I had done it for a year, and I didn't make any money, that I had to get around someone who had done what I wanted to do. And thank you. And success leaves clues. Like my mentor, in a couple years, and by the time we get to December 31st of this year, she's already made $8 million. I believe she'll be at 9 or 10 by the time December 31st rolls around. Good morning, Pende. I'm learning from her and some other people. Good morning, Vicki. And she's, the stuff that I'm doing right now with, even this live stream, the content, the videos I post, she does in our community. We're doing a 90-day sprint right now. She gives a video every day it's only 5 or 10 minutes, so it's not going to take a long time to go through it. She gives you a tip and some tips, and then she gives you an action step to take. Good morning, Lori. And learning from her, and she does that. We've got over 56,000 people in our group. And I've done network marketing, I've done affiliate marketing, I've done high ticket affiliate marketing, I have some of my own products. And truthfully, I got burned out at doing network marketing. I promoted a company for like 2 years. I still use that product. I personally signed over 350 people, and I was just using, there's prospecting and marketing. Now I'm just doing marketing and doing attraction marketing, because you can learn how to use social media and do attraction marketing. And you don't have to bug family and friends. You don't have to private message people on Facebook or another platform. And that does work. That's prospecting. But I got burned out. I was spending so much time on Facebook. It was ridiculous, following up with people. And then if you're not doing that, you're not making money. And I have a system now that's running for me 24/7. So I can wake up to making money when I'm sleeping. I could be out doing something else. You can get this down to 2 hours. Like when I'm done here, today is probably going to be more like 3 hours, because yesterday I didn't stay on this live very long. But when I'm done here now, I'm done. I got some errands to run, and I'm a football fan. I'm a baseball fan, and both my teams play today. I'm done for the day. You can get this down to 2 hours with the prospecting, and that does work. You have to learn what to say to people. And I signed a lot of people, but I was totally burned out. There's no automation or leverage to that. I got a system. I'm using software that follows up with people. I have software on my Instagram account that answers anytime anybody comments, the software answers automatically for me. I would use that on TikTok, but right now it's in beta. And because of all the stuff with TikTok and us not knowing if it's going to be around in the United States, they're not letting anybody in the US have it. I already have an account. All I would have to do is attach my TikTok account and set some responses up, but they're not going to give it, at least right now. President Trump did sign another 90-day thing. The last one expired September 19th. He extended it for 90 days till December 19th. But it's still, I mean, they're still looking, I think they're working on a deal of somebody to buy TikTok, that it won't be banned in the United States, but that's not finalized. Good morning, Kara. Good morning, Harold. Let me know where you're coming in from. But you can automate most of it. And with what I was doing before, you can't. And there's software, you can outsource some stuff. Once you get to a point, you can basically automate a lot of this. I'd say like 95% of it. So you're not spending now a live like this. I mean, I can't use anything. Another tool, I started using AI that saves me a ton of time creating content. These live streams, you can't use AI. I can't send somebody. I guess maybe I could if I hired somebody, but for me actually to be on these lives and to be really me, yeah, I got to be here. But this is now, usually I'm live streaming for an hour. Yesterday and the day before, I didn't stay on for an hour. But today I'll be here for an hour. I'll be here again tomorrow. I've been doing these lives now. I'm almost at 90 days of doing this. I started the middle of July, but I'm just giving out free value. If you've got a comment or you have a question, drop in the comments. If there's something you're trying to figure out, I did do a training that anybody came on late. This is the kind of the 5 steps, how to start an online business as a beginner. I did spend time doing that, sharing some things that if you're not doing it, and like the first thing is a niche. Now, the guy that was on, good morning, Joseph, the guy that was on earlier this week, and he wants to do personal development. That's not in one of the niches that I'm suggesting, because those niches are evergreen. He might have a hard time, and he can try it and see how it goes. And I do know personal development doesn't necessarily sell that well, but he can try it. But learning how it's a high income skill. You can learn it in 2 weeks. Mastering it, you master things by doing the same thing every single day. And when I say every day, I mean 7 days a week over a period of time. And now, because I know what to do, I've been able to get this TikTok account. I'm over 100,000 followers. I got monetized because to get in their monetization program, you have to have 10,000 followers and you have to have gotten 100,000 views over the last 30 days, and then you can apply. I mean, Instagram stopped theirs, and I was monetized on YouTube. I lost it. I'm trying to get back on that. Theirs is a little different. You need 1,000. I have more than 1,000 subscribers, but I need 4,000 hours of watch time, which I'm not quite there yet. And I've actually, with YouTube's program, I've made over 5 figures with it. And I know somebody, and it sounds unbelievable, but he makes $40,000 a month just from the ad revenue on YouTube. So you can learn like this, getting monetized on TikTok. They're paying me to do this live. It's another stream of income. That's another thing I've learned about making multiple streams of income. And when I was working a job, I never thought about that. And if your job is your only income and you lose it, you're screwed. And that's what happened to me. And I was drowning in $250,000 of debt. I had no idea how I was going to get myself out of this mess. And if it wasn't for this industry and digital marketing, I don't know that I'd still have my house. I mean, I am in my house. I lost a lot of other things. And when I didn't have a job and I was getting unemployment, which I collected for like a year and a half, that was only $2,000 a month. And nobody can live off of that. I was getting deeper and deeper into debt. And I had to do something to start getting more money coming in. My unemployment ran out. And usually unemployment is only for 6 months. But at the time I lost my job, the job market was so bad, they were extending it to emergency unemployment. So I collected it for a year and a half. Good morning, Mindy. Good morning, Rini. If you're just jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I live on the East Coast of the United States. I'm here every day. If you got a question, I do online marketing, making money from home, and I teach other people how to do the same thing. I haven't worked a job in over 9 years. It was 9 years in June. Here in Texas. I have family in Texas, in Houston and Dallas. Good morning, Rose. I haven't worked a job in over 9 years, and I've been doing this month is my 14-year anniversary in this industry. Mindy, you shouldn't have a problem with the PDF. You might want to take the link and put it in another browser or another device and try it. If you're still having problems, respond back to the email, and we'll try something else. You shouldn't have a problem opening it, but sometimes it's the browser or the device you're on. But if you still can't open it and respond back to the email, and can try something else. And usually I find when people can't open something, it's your web browser, or I like Chrome the best, but I have a Mac. I also have Safari, and sometimes that's it. But if it's not, respond back to my email, and we'll see what we can do. You should be able to open it. I don't get many people that tell me that they can't open it, but that's yours to keep. It's free. Um, you can download it and save it on your computer. Good morning. Is it Wish? But the PDF outlines I am following a proven blueprint that my mentors used to make actually $3 million. Good morning, Fox. Good morning, Peter. And she's made $8 million in the last 3 years. So it does work. And you can get this down to 2 hours a day. Now, when you're new, and especially if you've never done this before, been creating content and all that, because all I'm using social media for free, is creating content that's congruent with what I'm doing and posting that on social media. If you're new, it may take you a while, because if you're learning something new, you're slower. And the more you do something, you get faster and you get better at it. I got an AI course in June, because AI is not going away. And that's helped me save me time creating content. It's, you don't, and I don't want to say you don't have to show up, because you need to show up every day, but you can do, and I know there's people, you don't want to get your face on camera, but you could do faceless marketing too. But AI, you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. I'm learning, and actually I'm going through another AI course that was gifted to me. You create an avatar, an AI twin. And I'm going, actually this morning I was picking out some pictures, but the videos I've been putting out, they're all AI. They look like me. And then I had a way to record my voice that when I'm talking, it sounds like me. So with the technology, you can, and you don't have to learn AI, but I wanted to learn AI because I don't think it's going away. And if you've noticed, if you go out to Google now and search on Google, it's AI responding to you. Good morning, Lena. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I'm on the East Coast of the United States. I live about 50 minutes outside the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're about a 2-hour drive to New York City, but that can save you time and automation. I mean, I have software I use on my Instagram account, and right now I can't use it on TikTok, but it answers all my comments, so I don't have to stay on. I'm not having to be online like 24/7. Because when I'm done here now, this morning I've got some errands to run, and then I'll be back. The football game starts at 1, so I've got the rest of the day to myself. You can get it down to 2 hours. But when I started, I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have training, and I didn't have a proven system. And you don't know what you don't know. I'm sending traffic to a replicated website, which you never want to do because it's not going to convert. And after a year of doing that, I knew that I had to find somebody who'd done what I wanted to do and learn from them, because success does leave clues. And my mentor, she's very successful. And she does a video for us. We're on a 90-day run right now, sprint. She does a short video. It's not longer than 5 or 10 minutes that she puts in our group. And then she puts an action step in it. And she's very good at what she's done. And one of the reasons she's made, and Mindy was commenting that I'm giving out this free stuff. That is one thing and one of the reasons why she's so successful, is because she gives out free value. Now, she went live every day for 2 years, and that's not an income claim. If you do that, you go live every single day. And she went live on TikTok and YouTube like I'm doing, that you're going to make $1 million. But she's giving out free value, sharing things, and that's kind. I know when I started on YouTube, all I was doing, and this was before short video, before TikTok, I was just doing short 2 to 3 how-to videos. And then when somebody was trying to figure something out, I was just giving them the video and they could watch it and figure out whatever it is that they're trying to do. So good morning. Is it Kay? Good morning, Doug. Thanks for jumping on. Let me know where you're coming in from. If this is the first time you've been on one of my lives, comment yes, because I am seeing names I don't recognize. Now, TikTok shows me who's jumping on, and I can see somebody jumps off. I mean, if you want to like my video, I'd really appreciate that. Helps my accounts out, whether you're on my YouTube channel or my TikTok account. TikTok does show me. I can see people coming on, and then if somebody jumps off and they come back on, I can see that. YouTube does not. So if you don't comment on my YouTube in the comments, I don't know that you're there. I can't shout you out. Good morning. Is it Gems? If I'm not saying that correctly, I apologize where you're coming in from. But I've been doing these it'll be on October 16th. It'll be 90 days exactly. I've been doing these. I started July 16th. Here every day. You're in the Midwest, Ironton. Is it Ironton? It looks like MO1, 1.5. Okay, I thought. Why did I think you were from Texas? Maybe I'm mixing you else with somebody. Oh, you're a half hour south of St. Louis. There was somebody else on here that dropped Texas. They didn't say what part of Texas, and I have relatives in Houston and Dallas, Texas. And she said she was from Dallas. Okay, you're hour and a half south of St. Louis. Yeah, and actually there's a preacher I follow, Joyce Myers. Her ministry's in St. Louis. Joyce has really good stuff. Good morning, Tiny, or Teeny Tiny. She and her Tiny Tiny. She's in St. Louis, her ministry, but she actually she's on. Yeah, I do. I love her a lot. She's got really good stuff. She's on, and I first found her on TBN, and now I've been following her on Facebook. But her ministry is based. She's from St. Louis. She's just got really good stuff. She's one I donate to her. I don't donate to her as much as another. I donate almost every week to an organization called King's Ransom. Danny Johnson found that Danny Johnson started a business from her car. She was homeless. Good morning, Granny. And I think she made her first $1 million. Like it was less than 3 years from her car. And I actually went to one of Danny's events. She retired and she hired somebody else to run her company now. But she started her business. She was homeless from her trunk of her car. Amazing story. But she does, when the event I went to, she did a spiritual equipping Saturday night because she's teaching marketing. And what she teaches, she's very familiar with the industry I'm in. That was one of the reasons I wanted to go to her thing. But she also does a spiritual equipping. She has a way of bringing, and it's biblical. And there's so many people I've met in this industry that have said to me, the Bible is the greatest success book ever written. And I got to agree with that. Because I took a challenge to myself and I started over a year ago to read a page of the Bible every day. And I'm almost at the end. But Joyce has good stuff. Good morning. Is it Sam? If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. YouTube, if you don't comment, I don't know you're there, so I can't shout you out. YouTube does not show me that. YouTube only shows me the number of people on and the time I've been live streaming. What's cool, good morning, Nicholas. I have software that lets me live stream on both TikTok and YouTube. It's one live stream. And the software is really cool in the fact that when I end this stream, they automatically upload the whole recording of this on my YouTube channel. It becomes a piece of content. TikTok only keeps it for 30 days. And then it looks to me like they break it up, so it's not the whole thing. And so in that sense, the recording of this is gone, except unless I delete it off my YouTube channel. But that's what's cool about this software, and the fact it's letting me live stream in more than one place. Because then if I wanted to do two, I'd end up doing this live stream twice. Good morning. Is it Anna? Good morning, Digital Mommy 11. What do people call you? So the technology today and with AI, biblical scriptures, but she sent it on a nice card as a donation. Yeah, she always when she does it, I'm on her mailing list. When she does ask for a donation, she sends a card, and she actually signs it, asking because I've donated a number of times, and she'll send one out. And I usually, with Danny's organization, if any of you know Ray Higdon, he does a thing called Wealth Wednesday. I learned this from him, to do a random act of kindness involving a financial exchange with a stranger. And when we were in COVID, and there was a part of my journey here. I gave up having a car for 2.5 years. I have been known to go like into Walmart and take a $20 bill on a card and stick it in the diaper bag. I want the person to know that if they find the $20, it was intentional, and I'll just put on it something. And then I sign it like the Good News merchant. I don't put my name. Or if somebody's behind me, like somebody behind me and they're driving a Taco Bell, I've paid for the person, and doing this on Wealth Wednesday behind me. Or, if you're in line someplace else, or sometimes I've seen a street person out when I've been out that I've paid, given them some money. And I used to work in the city, and a lot of people, there were people I worked with, they didn't want to give cash to street people because, and this makes sense, if they've got a drug problem or an alcohol problem, they're just going to take the cash and buy that. And one woman I worked with, she would take them. There's these food trucks all over downtown in Center City, Philadelphia, where I worked. She would take them to the truck and let them buy food. Good morning, Rod. Or another woman I worked with, she would go to McDonald's and get gift cards because there's a couple McDonald's around the city. But depending on where the person is, obviously they're on foot. If you give them a McDonald's gift card and they got to walk like 10 miles to get to the McDonald's, they're probably not going to use it. But give them food rather than give them cash, because a lot of them, they do have alcohol problems or drug problems, and they're just going to take the cash and buy that. And that totally makes sense, because especially in downtown Center City, Philadelphia, or if you've been to New York City, there's street people all over the place. And I usually, if I do see somebody, I live out in the suburbs, there people are kind of walking or they're on a highway. Well, thank you. And actually, this industry is personal development with a compensation plan, because I'm not even the same person I was 6 months ago. This really is personal development. It's about you becoming more. And there's things now that I do, and I'm learning from how many different people, because if you're identifying yourself as a Christian and trying to live your life like the Bible, Scripture says, and how God wants us to be, and the whole thing with Erica Kick, with Charlie, her husband being shot to death, and her getting up in front of public like that and forgiving him. Good morning, Brian. She's a Christian, because most people couldn't do that. And if you're trying to, we all, and I don't want to get on a tangent of this, and if you're not Christian, I may be offending you, but we all only have so much time here, and we're all going to stand before God and take account of how we lived our life. And even if you go to church every Sunday, you're baptized, I'm baptized, that's not enough. It's how you're living your life every single day. If everybody went out every day and you found someone you could help, I believe the world would be a better place. And I do things now that because of the stuff that I learned. I was coming out of Staples one day just getting some stuff, and there was a woman, she's probably in her 80s. She was by herself. She had a walker. She was trying to fold. Her car was parked at one of the handicap spots. She was trying to fold her walker and get it into the car. And I didn't want to scare her. I just went over and I said, "Can I help you with that?" And I just folded it for her. I said, "Do you want it in your back seat?" She said, "Yeah." I put it in her back seat. She was by herself. And just made sure she got in her car okay, because a lot of people don't want to do that because, yeah, we're all busy and we're running around. And I think sometimes we run around like nuts trying to get stuff done, and just taking a few minutes and just a random act of kindness like that. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, May. And doing something like that. And I wouldn't have done that before. I was in it's a 24-hour thing. They're called Wawa where I live. There was a woman in there by herself. She was on crutches. She had a bag, and she was struggling at the door there's two doors to get in it. I just went over and held the door for her. There was one right there and then one to the parking lot. If everybody tried to do something, find somebody who could help, and we all get wrapped up in our problems. And actually, Joyce has a book that I have it. It's next to my reading list. What About Me? It's a book about being selfish. Good morning, Francisco, because I think we're all, you really do. Some of the stuff you really got to work on. Naturally selfish, and people kind of get into the mindset, well, if it's going to inconvenience me, I'm not going to do it. And it is, it is personal development, you working on becoming a better version of yourself. Because if we look at the way God treats us, and like he forgives us all, and we're all sinners, that he wants us to treat people, um, treat other people the same way. You say amen. Absolutely doesn't matter if you're Christian side or other sides about making the world better. Yeah, no, and a lot of people, like I went to Catholic school for 6 years, um, and Catholic school was really a history course in religion because they didn't go over any of this stuff. Now, since I've been in this industry, and I've read so many people, they're ministers, pastors, they own a ministry. Two of them that I met, that they've both been really good to me, and they're hardcore network marketing, and I just don't want to do network marketing. They're both have doctorate degrees in theology. It's doctor. They're entrepreneurs, and a lot of this stuff I learned from them. And like my house, and Doug said to me one day, your house, your car, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to God. He just blessed you with it. And I mean, I never had heard that before. And some of the stuff that I've learned in this industry, um, so I really do think it's about personal development, you becoming a better version of yourself. And if we all tried to practice just doing a random act of kindness every single day, the world would be a better place, because the world can get crazy and dark. That's for sure. And to just let other, you don't know, you could be standing in line at Starbucks. I don't go into Starbucks to drink coffee very much, but you could be standing in line, and the person behind you, if you bought that, paid for that person, you don't know, that person could be suicidal, and you could have, done something to, change that person's state, because you never know what somebody's going through. But the whole thing with, painful. And I know when I did it, I was in the drive through at Taco Bell. I paid for the car behind me. The chick that was running the cashier, she looked at me like I was nuts. Like, why would you want to do that? Now, if it was a bus behind me and there were like 20 people, I might have passed on that and gone to the car behind, because if 20 people are ordering lunch at Taco Bell, and well, food's gotten so expensive. Lunch at Taco Bell for 20 people would have been a lot more than, like now. I mean, I was in Taco Bell like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I got the same thing. I hadn't been there in a long time, and usually what I got was about $13 or $14. Now it's 18. And last night, a friend and I, we went to a Phillies baseball game, and we live in outside Philadelphia. Cheesesteaks. If you haven't been to Philadelphia, you need to have a cheesesteak. We went to one of the cheesesteak places we usually go to, and the cheesesteaks now, I hadn't been there in a while, like a year. They were $18. A soda was like $4. A bottle of wine was $4. So by the time and then we usually get ice cream at the ballpark, and then the parking went up. It was $25 to park the car. Yeah. So, well, lady, I'm gonna go to watch. Yeah. Okay. My closest. Okay. Well, I'll be here. I'll be here again tomorrow. Yeah, cheesesteak. If you live in Philadelphia, or if you come to visit, you need, and there's all kinds of cheesesteaks, depending on where you get it from. But a cheesesteak is kind of a landmark of Philadelphia. They're not the healthiest things, but I don't eat them a lot. And it's kind of a ritual. A friend and I, when we go to the baseball games, we had these tickets for a couple months. I mean, last night wasn't so great because it was raining and they lost, their chance to get the number one seed, because we're in the playoffs, which they play a week this coming Saturday. But if you ever come to Philadelphia, or if you live in Philadelphia, and I've tried how many different cheesesteaks, if you go to California and try a cheesesteak, it's not as good, and it's really the bread. And there's one here, it's called Tony Luke's. It's at one of the malls not far from me. I think that's the best cheesesteak because of the bread. And if you go to California, good morning, Michael. Thanks for liking my live. I really appreciate it. It's because of the bread. That's what really makes it. And if you try, I've had pizza and cheesesteaks like in California, they just don't taste the same. So yeah, if you're ever in Philadelphia, you have to try a cheesesteak. And there's a bunch of different ones depending on where you go. And there's a couple down it's in the southern part of the city that's not far from the ballpark. And that's just a ritual her and I have. But the ones last night, we were both saying, my friend of mine had a cold. She thought her cold was affecting how it tasted. And I said, I got to tell you, they don't taste as good as the last time. So we're probably going to go to another place. Good morning, Eric. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. I live on the East Coast of the United States, about 40 or 50 minutes outside the city of Philadelphia. If you have a question, I did do a training this morning. This is my whiteboard. I was talking about how to start an online business as a beginner. I was laying out 5 steps because I've had some people come on here. I had a guy the other day that he wanted to start a YouTube channel that's surrounded doing personal development. And I don't know. Good morning, Jacob. I don't know because you want to pick a niche. And I went over the 3 biggest niches, which are wealth, health, and the dating relationship niche. You want to pick something in one of those niches because they're evergreen, they're not oversaturated. If you pick something there's not enough of demand or people want it, it might be really hard to try to build up an account about it. But that's what that guy wanted to do. And he can go ahead and try it and see how it goes, but it doesn't fall into one of the 3 biggest niches. And they are evergreen. And you want to pick something that's in demand because if like weight loss, and that's in the health niche. There's a lot of people that would like to lose weight. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Fishman. If you're jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. YouTube, if you guys don't comment, I have no idea you're there, so I can't shout you out. YouTube only shows me the time I'm streaming and the number of people on. So if you don't comment, I don't know you're there. TikTok's a little different. They show me people that are coming on. Good morning, Maxine. And I know when somebody jumps on, when they jump off, because I can see them again. And people have the tendency on these lives, especially on TikTok, to do that. They jump on, they jump off. You could be laying on your couch and just grab your phone and jump on someone's live. And you're probably not just jumping on my live, you're jumping on other people's. But TikTok does show me that. Good morning, Joseph. If anybody wants to like my live, I'd really appreciate it, whether you're on my YouTube channel or my TikTok account. It helps my accounts out. The algorithm, and they like that. And I can see if you do like my live on TikTok, I can see who's liked it. And they show me as well as people coming on. Thank you, Michael. Michael should get a couple gold stars because he jumps on mine and he likes them, and I appreciate that. Thank you. But if anybody has any questions, I did commit to doing these for an hour. Yesterday, Friday, I wasn't on as long, but I'm almost at the hour now. So if you have a question, drop in the comments. If there's something you're trying to figure out, I'd be glad to do training. I did talk this morning about how to start an online business as a beginner, and the whole thing's recorded. I will have the cool thing about the software I use. When I'm done this and I end this, good morning, Joseph. Good morning, Soccer 689. When I end this, what the software does, it automatically uploads the whole thing to my YouTube channel, and it becomes a piece of content. TikTok only holds them for 30 days, and it looks to me like they save them in sections. So there'll be maybe 5 minute short videos, and then after 30 days, they don't keep it. But YouTube, it keeps it. You too, Joseph. Thanks for jumping on. Good morning, Profit Meister. If you want to comment where you're coming in from, I live on the East Coast of the United States near Philadelphia. If anybody has a question, good morning, Sky 87. It'd be a good time to do it now because I did commit for an hour. The hours are messed up today. So if you do have a question, put it in the comments. If there's something you're trying to figure out, I'd be glad to do a training. Well, today we can't because we're almost at the end of the time. Do this on another day. I did a couple yesterday and today. I've done other ones. Good morning, Cindy. You're from the East Coast as well. Okay, well, good morning. Is it Sweet Calzy? What is that what people call you? People have all kinds of different names in their social media accounts. I'm branding myself, so my accounts are my name. And on TikTok, I can tell you, if you don't, thank you, Michael, for liking the live. If you don't put your name, TikTok automatically signs you just as user, and then there's a long number. And I know a lot of people, Kyle Lease. Okay, thank you for jumping on. Good morning, Carter. They just assign you that, and there's people that just take that. They don't put their picture on their accounts, and I do. If you're using social media, you really want to do that because with all the fake accounts, and now with AI and all that, people want to know you're real. And I've got at least 10 fake accounts on each platform that someone's done. They've stolen my images, they download and steal my content, my videos, and put it on another channel. And then they try to private message people. I don't do that. I don't private message people. They try to get you on Telegram or WhatsApp. I don't use either of them. And they're trying, and there are, good morning, Salty Girl. Yes, there's so many scammers out there. You got to be careful out there. I don't private message people. The only reason I would message you is if it's about my freebie, which really you don't need to message me because you can get my freebie on my profile on TikTok. It's in the descriptions of my YouTube video on YouTube. You can just go straight to my website there. I don't message people about that. And what I mean, they're really slick, or they think they're slick. They message people. They go through your follower list, and then they start messaging people and try to make it, you think it's me. And then they're trying to scam people out of money. They start saying, well, I'm doing, and it's usually a crypto or Forex thing, which I don't do either of those, and get money out of people. And I just don't private message people like that. So if somebody's private messaging you, it's a fake account. And the way you can tell a fake account, before I end this, is if you go up to their and you look at their username, like on TikTok, mine's the real Linda Bomba. They put something in there. They put something like a number, a symbol, or something that shouldn't be there. And that means it's a fake account because they do steal your images and your videos. So we're past our hour. Nobody has any questions. I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. I appreciate you guys jumping on. Michael, thank you for liking my live. I really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Have a great day, everybody.